You might notice there's a way your attention can rest right now on the simple act of listening. And as you listen, a part of you already remembers what it's like to be completely absorbed in something. A movie, a melody, a task. When time seems to soften around the edges. That feeling of absorption is concentration. And concentration, when aligned with purpose, begins to resemble divine will. Not something imposed from above, but the natural gravity that pulls a river back to the sea. Perhaps you can imagine a small flame inside the chest of a child, curious, flickering, never still. Every time that child chooses to breathe and look, the flame steadies. Each moment of attention is oxygen. And one day, the child discovers the flame lights paths unseen before. Intuition, that quiet knowing, that feels like remembering in advance. Now the mind, like an old radio, can tune. When it drifts into static, noise of comparison, fear, I can't. It simply retunes by noticing the signal that already exists. And the more often you turn the dial towards sincerity, the clearer the message comes through. People call that channeling, or alignment, or flow. You can call it whatever you like. The names, they're just temporary handles for something ancient. And you may begin to sense every separate part of you, the thinker, the dreamer, the skeptic, the mystic. They're merely different frequencies of the same broadcast. Separation was a labeling error, not a cosmic truth. When you release the need to pin everything down, patterns begin to show themselves. And those patterns whisper, everything belongs. Notice what happens when you imagine continuing this way. Weeks from now, months from now. Each small practice of returning attention, building an invisible strength. Concentration turns into stability, stability into clarity, clarity into calm action. That's the upward spiral of will becoming wisdom. Science would call it neuroplasticity. Poets would call it awakening. You might just call it getting your act together. And of course, there are the alternatives. To scatter attention, to chase every shiny distraction, to let other people's noise dictate your tempo. That path leads exactly where it always has. To exhaustion that feels suspiciously like meaninglessness. Every moment you choose to focus, it's a vote against that entropy. Every return is a micro miracle of choice. So it becomes playful. Each breath a rehearsal of creation. Each focused thought a brushstroke on the canvas of reality. And somewhere between the inhale and the exhale, you realize you've been practicing divine will all along. The will to notice, to choose, to act in harmony with what's right in front of you. Now perhaps a new curiosity stirs. How will this awareness shape the rest of the day? Maybe decisions become simpler, intuition quicker, synchronicities more obvious. Or maybe it's just a subtle calm behind the eyes that says, I'm steering now. Either way, the seed has been planted. Concentration and divine will, they're not distant mountains. They're the muscles that grow each time you return your attention to what truly matters. And as that truth roots deeper, you can almost feel the quiet satisfaction of knowing you've already begun.